Hello and welcome to my video. This is part 2 of a painting that I did. It could be described as finished, I suppose, but I'm not totally happy with it. I have to say, I have sold it, and the person who's buying it, the delightful Emma, is more than happy to let me finish it off and make a few subtle changes. So all I'm going to do really is add a bit of white here, because there's some board showing. Now that's perfectly acceptable to have the board showing in a painting. However, I just want to add a bit more, I don't know, something. If I just leave white board, it'll just be white, and I want a few subtle changes in the snow there. So to do that, I need to get some paint on there. Same goes for this corner here. There's a few bits there that just need finishing off. And then what I intend to try is to get a bit of light through there, just a little bit. It's a little bit dark all the way down, and I think a bit of light at the bottom there, maybe even some distant mountains, possibly, just a sort of like a ghost image in the distance. And for that, I'll use a palette knife. And I'll also use this one of the smallest brushes I've got, which has got a square end, and I want the square end so that I can work away from the cliff neatly, neat and tidy. That's my plan. Of course, things never always go according to plan, but maybe one day they will. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm not using any medium at the moment. I'll use some medium, which will be alkyd, because this was all painted with alkyd. There's no linseed oil on that at all, and titanium white. Just a few little bits on the edge of my palette knife, and I'm just going to push these on here and try and sort of restructure that area, or make it a little bit more striking, a bit more interesting. I like a lot of texture in my paintings, so the fact that what I did a few weeks ago now is completely dry, I can do anything here, and if I change my mind I can just wipe back. Or I can, it's not necessarily just changing of mind, it could just be that I want to get a few more interesting textures in there, so I can put the paint on, then take it off and look and see what it looks like as I put and remove, add and remove paint. And of course it's all safe, you see, because it's dry. Nothing actually can go permanently wrong. It can go sort of semi-permanently wrong, but only until you change it. And of course, as I just said, you can change it because you won't be producing mud, because one of the colours is dry. The only thing I'm adding is white. My goodness, don't I go on. Okay, I'll try and just get on with this and show you what I mean. So, quite a lot of paint on there. And this'll dry reasonably quickly. I've always found titanium white dries quite fast. I don't know, maybe I'm the only person who finds that. Don't know. There goes my phone. Should have switched that off before I started. Okay. So there's some interesting texture there in the corner. Right, so a little bit down the other side. Let me see. Now I'm just going to test. See if I can just do this reaching across. There we go. It's always a bit odd when you do it like this, but because you see everything differently from this angle as opposed to straight on. But I'm not really drawing anything here. I'm not sort of. All I'm doing is just adding a little bit of white, really. There we are. It's very, very quick to do this sort of thing. Somebody commented on YouTube that they had trouble seeing a road. Well, maybe it's not a road. I don't know what it is. I was thinking, when I first started, I thought, well, it would be quite interesting to have a road, but maybe this place is so far north Maybe there aren't any roads. Maybe it's a bit of a river, you know, frozen river. You can actually choose what you decide to see in there. Okay, so in fact, having said that, I'm going to break this line slightly. I'm always nervous, you see, of a line going straight off the edge of a painting, because it can lead the eye out. So maybe what I'll do is I'll block it about here, and it can be curling back over that way, and I'm sure that if I put a bit more white underneath there, that will reinforce that line. So maybe it just goes round a corner. So it's not a road anymore. Anyway, who needs roads? Right. So we've got some quite interesting textures over here. Do I need to change that? Probably not. I think I need a little bit more white there. Just to bring that out a little bit. So yeah, that's okay, I think. Right, so now, as I said, what I wanted to do in here was something to make it look as though the world continues through there and it doesn't just stop. Always beware of producing bits of paintings where the viewer can't see any further. It's always, to me anyway, I find that a little bit restricting and a bit unsatisfying in a painting. I'm going to just sort of just play it by ear here and see what I can do. Just a few more little twinkly bits there, I think. Okay, so now it's time for the brush, I think. And I'm going to need, at this stage now, I'm going to need a little bit of alkyd, and not that it matters much. Pretty well all alkyds are the same. This is the one I use for those who are going to ask. It's made by Lafranc & Bourgeois, and it's alkyd. And when I finished this, because of this is interesting, well, to me it's interesting. I've always used linseed oil. I haven't used this much. I like this stuff. I like it because it dries fast. But when this is finished, I'm going on to liquid. And the reason I'm doing that, just get some of that out there. The reason I'm doing that is because I've never done it before. It seems to produce, well, this stuff seems to produce the same sort of consistency in the paint as if you were adding oil. And I guess that's what it's designed for. It looks sort of slightly dingy yellow, but when you add white or add it to a colour, that dingy yellow just disappears. So it will dilute your colour, but it won't tint it with another colour. So this is very runny white here. Okay, now this is experimental. I'm just going to see how it goes. So I've got a little mountain here. I've got a little bit of light there coming across. My initial idea was to have quite a powerful bit of light there. However, if I put just white here, it's going to look the same as all this stuff. It'll confuse the eye a bit. Now what I want to do is to get people to go through there. So what I'm going to do is this. Let's just see how it goes. Now it looks quite strong at the moment, but that will change. So if I just put in a few shapes there up to the edge of the mountain there. That's why I'm using this brush, so I can get a nice crisp edge. And in fact I'm going to bring it up a little bit just so that I can have a slight change of angle in the edge of the cliff there. And then I'm going to bring it over here to its logical conclusion. Right, now it looks as though I've just raised the landscape up. Well, I have. In case there's any argument, I have. What I'm going to do next is, with the same brush, I'm going to use some of this, obviously. I'm going to take paint off the brush. I'm not going to clean the brush I'm going to use turpentine, which I wouldn't do anyway. I'm just going to wipe off most of the paint, so that I've really got almost a dry brush. Then I'm going to start working into it, in fact, like this. Pushing it, dragging through just to take some of the colour off. So there's a little bit more off there. See, I wonder if you can see it. I think you can. There we are, just to take some paint back. My technique is very much about putting paint on, taking paint off. It's just the way I like to work, really. And oh, someone said, "Oh, your technique is so unique." It's not actually. This has been done for years. The tonalists, obviously, they do it because I'm a tonalist and studied tonalism, so I know what they do and what they used to like to do. So I'd be very interested in having some time to read a bit more about tonalism. It was covered a little bit at college, but that was a long time ago. I mean, that was back in the late 60s, early 70s, and yes, and a lot of people nowadays use this technique. If you go on to, if you're a Facebook person, go on to look for the tonalism site. I mentioned this on the first part of this video. I think you said village. Anyway, yeah, look for tonalism. It's a really good group. Some excellent artists there. And it's a responsive group. I like it when a group is responsive. Even if someone puts up a painting that, they're a beginner and they obviously need more practice, people don't criticise, they encourage. And I think that's a good thing. Encouragement is fine. I think if someone asks for criticism, they'll get it. But if you don't ask, nobody jumps on you for putting up a painting that is, that you may feel is not good enough. Of course, that brings up a whole new thing. What is art? What is good art? I don't know. I've never been. I have to say, I've never been an abstract painter. I don't think I could do it. I did. Well, I have to say, I did try once. I painted some sort of abstract shapes, and I don't know. I just couldn't keep a straight face. So anyway. In there now, I've got here I've got what could be the landscape going through, and it's sort of disappearing off into the wilderness quite nicely. This disturbs me here, this line underneath the cloud here, and then it goes dark. I think it probably needs just a little something in there, so I'm going to use just a piece of paper, because as you know, this is all dry. I'm just going to dab this in a bit of white and just sort of break that a little bit. And see what it does. I'm happy, but not completely happy. And I think I'm the same as most people. I'd rather be completely happy than a bit happy. So I'm going to work into this to raise my happiness quotient. There we are. I'm slightly more happy. Yeah, I think that's okay. Okay, so that's not too shabby, I suppose. Definitely cold anyway. Well, this is going to be a quick video. I don't know how long my camera's been going, but that's probably it for this. As I said at the beginning, thankfully, this painting is sold. And whoops, hang on, I always do this. I'm terrible, aren't I? spotted something else there. Okay, yes, it's sold, and I'm going to make another video really quickly this time. For those of you who have been following my Facebook, I had very mild flu a few months ago now. Now, whether it was COVID, I don't know. I live in rural France, right in the middle of nowhere. Don't see many people, particularly this year, since the lockdown. So I don't think I'm in danger of spreading it to anyone. So I just sort of hunkered down. Had very, very mild flu, but my goodness, the after effect has been devastating. It's been unbelievably exhausting. I've been so tired, but I'm coming out of it now, thank goodness, and I should be back to full, hopefully, functioning normality in the coming days and weeks. So there we are. Right, so that's it. Hope you've enjoyed it. Before I go, someone did comment on a recent video. They said, oh no, it wasn't a recent video. It was one I put up a year ago last January, which has had now over 2 million views. It's called The Illusion of Detail. And so thank you to all those who've watched that. And someone said, oh, this is blatant self-promotion. Well, I have to say, yes, it is, because that's what we do. I'm teaching people to paint, I hope, but I'm also promoting my videos because it's a way of earning income. It's not a vast income, but frankly, anything is better than nothing. And I'll just tweak that while I jabber on here a little bit. A few of the there, now that's getting interesting there, isn't it? Wow, oh, I like that. Yeah, most people put up videos for a reason, and the reason is they hope that they'll be successful and they hope they'll make money. And I'm sure there are some people who put videos up not with that intention. They purely want to get their message out. But anyway, I'm one of those people who actually wants to make a bit of a living doing this, so that I can make more videos and better videos and hopefully encourage people to paint. I don't necessarily want to be rich. I just want people to know that painting is not as difficult as some people make out. So long as you have a nice relaxed attitude, try not to care too much about how it goes, that'll hold you back. Just try and have a bit of fun, relax. All the best paintings, I have to say this, all the best paintings seem to come out of me when I'm not trying. If I try too hard, it shows in my paintings. If I relax, they just have a nice, fresh, more instant look to them. So there we are. Anyway, yes, so if you want to come here to learn to paint, please let me know. The link will be in the box below. You can contact me through my website. That'll send if you go to the contact page, that'll send a message to my email address. I don't really want to give out my email address on here because I did that once and I got swamped. So anyway, there we are. That's it. Finito. And I'll see you very soon on another video, which is going to be quite a different sort of approach. So stay well. Thanks for watching and take care. Bye for now.